I'm always testing the products that I use, even the ones that I trust. It's especially true to test new products, but this is how I do it. I take a broken board, I strip off the glass on one side, I tape it up. I have 7, 8 different types of glass. I have epoxy, Pro-Link epoxy, Silmar resin, polyester resin on that side. So I'm going to do half-half. Then I can do some real-world strength tests. Okay. From batch to batch, a lot of times you find inconsistencies. So you need to figure this stuff out before you give it all to your customers. The last thing you want is to pass off low quality materials. This is pretty cool because I got some new products in this batch and I'm comparing it side to side with my regular products. There's no guesswork. Okay, let's see here. So basically, I'm going to lam it out like I normally would. This is a US Blanks red. And the best part about it, I have the standard lamination on that side that I can test alongside with this new stuff. Okay, wet this out. Some stuff is hard to wet out, but I'm going to get it as dry as possible. So I'm making mental notes right now, and I video everything just so I can talk about it and remember. Like I have some of this 2.4 ounce S glass right here, and it actually wets out better than I expected. It's alongside the 4 ounce S glass, and it's similar. The Inegra, 80% Inegra, double biax, wets out pretty good. Actually the E double biax, 4.8 ounce, is a little harder to wet out. XL Warp, XL4S. Oh yeah, let's not forget the carbon away over here hiding. Wet that out too. And this is a nice experiment because people say you can't use carbon with polyester resin, but I test it all the time and I can tell you straight up what it does, how strong it is in comparison. Okay, that's dried out. Okay, and then this is the Pro-Link epoxy. Do it on this side. This is actually the fun part of my job. Then you can actually see what wets out better, epoxy or polyester resin. I love the consistency of epoxy. It just wets out. Actually, you know what? The Inegra wets out way better with epoxy than it does with the polyester resin. Well, they all do, but epoxy wets out really easy. Look at that, beautiful. I don't want any extra resin. I pull it as tight as I can. Then after I do my testing on strength and flex and all that kind of crap, I will do some adhesion tests and do polyester on top of the epoxy, which everybody says you cannot do. But you can do it. I do it all the time. It works. You just have to know how. But I do these kind of tests just to prove a point that things can bond to each other if you know the properties of the material and you know how to work with it. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting about old poor carbon over here. It likes to hang out all by itself. And there's no 6-ounce in this batch because there's not too many options for 6-ounce. There's S glass, warp glass, and E glass. But I only use warp glass on my production. Unless I want to do tints and pigments, then I use E glass. Okay. This is interesting just because the polyester resin has the UV brightener in it. No, it's not UV brightener, I take that back. It's optical brightener. And it looks a lot duller in color than the Pro-Link epoxy. And the Pro-Link epoxy has the optical brightener, so when it does actually hit sunlight, it's going to glow. Look at that, beautiful. Everything's tight. So there we go. I mixed too much resin, kind of a waste, but that's okay. I have everything labeled. I'm going to actually let this dry for a few days before I do my smash test. Just because I want to make sure everything's cured. Because that's another thing people say, it has to cure. And since this is a small piece of material, I can put it in my car and heat cure it. And so I'll satisfy everybody. Epoxy, poly, all the different glass, carbon, heat test, or heat curing. What else did I miss? Whatever. I got it all covered. But the interesting thing is the color of the resin. With those biaxial cloths that are kind of thick and fluffy, polyester resin is not the best choice because it turns really dark and gray with that optical brightener in it. I'd have to order resin with less optical brightener if I'm going to use poly with the double bias. That's a mouthful.